I'm happy to be here to talk to you a little bit about teamwork and building team. And I know that that kind of seems like it's the same thing, but you know, as I got to thinking about teamwork, realized that there are some certain things that have to be in place for a team to be a team. They have to share consequences and they have to share goals. So as I think about the people I've worked with a lot more groups than I've worked with teams. So I entitled the handout called Building Team as opposed to Teamwork. So that might not be significant to you, but there are some significant differences, and I'm just going to let you take those. I don't have enough for everybody, but it probably isn't something that you all need a copy of. Some of these are really simple thoughts, nothing that you probably haven't heard before, but it's important things to remember when you're working with other people, and you want to at least build that sense of team. And when I think back over my 35 years of extension, I was trying to remember what are some of the things that I've seen happen that have really made people work together well. One of the things that I've seen people do are offer to help when you're really busy. Forget about your job description sometimes and think about what somebody else might need. Do they need help with registrations? Do they need help running copies? Do they need help collating? What can you do to be helpful? The second one is really one of the most important things to me because I've witnessed when it's gone badly, and that's communication. If you have an issue with another person that you work with, you know, what's the first thing we do when we're trying to communicate with somebody? We send them an email, right? Okay, you maybe get the email from somebody else that's maybe a little bit irritating to you, so okay, I can answer this. Message is gone. When I first started for Extension, we only had telephone. In fact, I was in an office and we shared one phone with 3 people. So when we called anybody, it had to be pretty important and you thought about what you're going to talk about before you called them. You know, now it's become so easy and we can answer so quickly. And sometimes we get an email that's upset us, we answer right away, and if you would have waited 24 hours to send that email, you might have answered just a little bit differently. If you're having an issue with somebody, make sure you confront them face to face or at least pick up the telephone. Don't let those kind of things escalate by electronic communication. I've seen that really ruin some good working relationships. If you have an issue with a coworker, talk to them before you talk to everybody else in your work group. Take time to listen. Sometimes people just need a listening ear. You don't necessarily need to solve their problem. And try to say hello to everybody that you work with in your office every day. Try to connect with them. Call them by name. What's going on in their family? Do you know what their kids are doing? I think that helps to build a good working relationship between people. Cross-market for your coworkers. Maybe they'll do that same favor for you when you're trying to recruit an audience. Criticize privately, praise publicly. Seems like a no-brainer, but you know that can be really easy to just let something go in a group and you haven't even talked to the person who really you're upset with first. One book I want to make a plug for, and this is not a new book. Focus on the strengths of the people on your team. And if you don't know what your strengths are, or there are people in your office that you don't really know very well, you don't know what their strengths are, this is one book that we did in a staff meeting a long time ago. Everybody read it and they went through an inventory. And we shared what everybody's strengths were, and we used those when we worked together. It got you to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and then you could compensate by bringing new people on your work team. Getting the right people at the table when something has to be discussed, the people that have ownership in that decision need to be around the table. Remember, we're all about we. It's not my program. It's not my volunteers. They're ours, and it's ours. Remember what it's like to be the new guy. Tell the new people the unwritten rules of the office. So there's lots more than that. Those are just some things that came to my mind. I think I'm out of time. Thanks.